Cold War Zombies for the past 2 years has been constantly bullied and slated for being an easy game. But what if I told you that Cold War Zombies could be quite literally the hardest zombies game you'll ever play with just a couple of rules? Firstly, Rampage Inducer has to be active at all times, from the second you start the game to the second you end the game. Secondly, you are only allowed to use a singular perk at any given time. However, if you pick up one perk, say you buy Jug, and you then down and lose Jug, you are then allowed to buy another perk, so then you could go and get Quick Revive if you wanted. However, you are only allowed to have a singular one active at any one given time. The third rule is a little confusing, so do bear with me. Salvage is not allowed to be spent other than on kill streaks. Kill streaks are allowed, but I'm only allowed to use one every 10 rounds. So if I buy one on round 8, use it on round 9, I then can't use another one until round 19. And then kind of like rule 3.1, salvage cannot be spent on anything else in the game. I can't buy armor with it, I can't buy weapon upgrades, I can't buy lethals or tacticals or anything of the sort. Only on kill streaks can it be used. Rule 4 is all Pack-a-Punch is allowed. I can get guns maxed out if I please, but I am not allowed to use ammo mods. Rule number 5 is no wonder weapons. Rule number 6 is I'm only allowed to use stims and throwing axes, which obviously can only be picked up by killing zombies and looting them. Rule number 7, I can only buy ammo when my gun is either in its last magazine or it's completely out of ammo. And the final rule, even though it's not really a rule, I have to get to round 55 doing all of this. So, yeah. Now, obviously, for a challenge like this, you need a gun that packs a punch. See what I did there? I'm sorry. So I opted to pick the Hauer shotgun, and if you know me, you know that I absolutely love this thing. I think it's probably the best gun in the game. Actually, I don't even think there's anything probable about it. It just is the best gun in the game. So this was a really easy pick for me for my starting gun, and a gun that was basically going to carry me through this entire challenge. The opening 10 rounds, even with Rampage Induce active, was a doddle, but I spent most of this time thinking about what perk I was actually going to buy. And straight away, 5 of them were already out of the question, being Speed Cola, Tombstone, Mule Kick, Elemental Pop, and finally Death Perception. So that leaves us with Jug, Quick Revive, Stamina Up, Deadshot, and PhD. Now, PhD and Jug I thought could be usable, but at the same time, I didn't know if I would want them as a singular perk. Quick Revive had like a really good potential because obviously it regens your health really quickly, and I thought that could be huge because obviously not a lot of health. I think being able to regen quickly would be a really good idea, but ultimately I didn't pick that one either. Now, Deadshot I think is probably like overall one of the best perks in this game. Being able to have that double crit damage on a full health enemy if you hit them in the head on their first like shot, it's incredible. With the Hauer especially, you can one-shot regular zombies past health cap. It's insane. But I ultimately picked Stamina Up mainly just so I can run away from all of my problems in game just as much as I can in real life. Boy, gotta go fast, you know? Whilst I was deliberating what perk I was going to buy, I managed to get down to the facility, open up Pack-a-Punch, and Pack-a-Punch the Hauer to tier 1. We also then took down our first real major threat of the game, being our first Megaton, which I won't lie, got a little dicey at some points, but after this, it was finally time to go and hit the box. Guns that I would want was the M16, which I know I could buy on this map, but yeah, there's a reason to this, which I'll get to in a minute. The 1911, I know, a bit of a weird choice, but it's incredibly powerful. I did get the M79 grenade launcher out of the box, and for a second, I did think if I get PhD and I swap to Ring of Fire, this could be really good, but then it's only going to be really good once every 10 rounds, so I dropped it and just kind of moved on. But I did end up with a 1911 pistol, and the reason why I didn't just buy the M16 off of the wall is because I can only get upgrades like rarity upgrades from my guns by buying them. So obviously, rarity upgrades upgrade over time throughout a game. So the Hauer, I think, started at a green tier and would eventually work its way up to a gold tier, and I started with the Hauer at purple tier. So I then knew I had to wait until the Hauer was at gold tier so I could buy it off the wall, get it gold tier, and then get it to tier 3 Pack-a-Punch so I could have a fully maxed out gun. And the reason why I didn't buy the M16 from the wall is because I was hoping to maybe get like a purple tier, or get, if I got really lucky, get a gold tier from the box, which I obviously didn't. But I did get a blue tier M1911, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just thought it was okay. It's a good gun. I knew it could be powerful, and there's a wall buy for it, so I chuck it. Rounds 14 through to 19 were an absolute breeze, but once we passed into round 20, this was when things started getting a little bit spicy. I was still rocking the blue tier standard 1911, no Pack-a-Punch, as I was holding out for that purple tier upgrade, as well as the purple rarity tier 1 Hauer. Also, once again, holding out for that gold tier upgrade. And even though I had the points to upgrade both my guns, I just didn't want to be spending that many points on guns just to then swap them out, to then grind all those points again, and then to upgrade them. But that wasn't the real problem here. The real problem was the goddamn heavy zombies. At round I completely forgot at round 20 this is when they spawned in on D Machine. I'm fairly certain they spawn in a bit later on the other maps, because there's the light armored zombies that spawn in between regular zombies and heavy zombies. And I just completely forgot that at this point on in this game, heavy zombies were going to be chasing me. And they basically act as like a mini boss when you're set to these parameters. They hit harder, they have much more health, and they're just way harder to kill. And I was also fairly certain at this point, if I lost my armor, I was at a 3-hit then down. Which, of course, meant I had to start playing a bit smarter. I had to start playing like a dumbass, which is obviously what I didn't do. And we take our first down on round 21. Now that we had our first down on the board and the fact that it was round 22, I realized it was time we start putting up some bigger damage numbers. But because I'm a tight ass and I don't want to spend all my points on Pack-a-Punch, I decided it was time to switch perks, and I opted for Deadshot. With Deadshot bought and the Hauer's damage numbers soaring, we flied into round 25. However, it was at this point where I started to realize a new issue, and this issue subsequently was the lack of stamina. I know, we went from having stamina to not having stamina to then realizing, shit, maybe stamina was actually a good idea. And the reason to this is because when you're at walking speed with Rampage Inducer, the zombies are faster than you, so they can hit you, and they will hit you a lot, and they will hit you hard, and they will hit you fast. And considering I only had 1 tier of armor, like, my armor would be gone in, like, literally 0.2 seconds, and I'd be on, like, 1 health, screaming for my life, running away, like, just absolutely terrified. So I had to basically be sprinting at all times. And even then, when you're sprinting, the zombies are still, like, right up your ass, just, like, trying to get a sniff, you know? Like, it's like, the zombies are close to you at all times when you don't have stamina, which brought a pretty big issue. Even though I could hit them hard, and I was hitting them hard, and I was killing the zombies with ease, when they surround you and when they overcrowd you, it got a little much. And yeah, round 27, I think, round 28, we die. But that's not where this challenge ends. I dusted off my boots, I picked back up my Hauer shotgun, and we went again, only to die on round 13. Once again, that did not deter me from trying again, but this time I came up with a new solution to this. Instead of starting with the Hauer and eventually trying to work my way up to getting the M16, I flipped things around. I thought I can use the M60 and try and pick off zombies from range before they get close to me, and then eventually pick up the Hauer to deal that big damage to the bosses and to when zombies start getting a bit closer and things start getting a bit hectic. Yeah, that also didn't end very well, and also I died on round 13, so yeah. Things aren't looking well for us. Now, because I'm stubborn, I can't let round 28 be our best attempt at this, so I grabbed the M16 once again and headed out for one final attempt. This run was going incredibly well until round 11, when a Megaton spawned and just body slammed me straight into a wall, sending me down in literally 1 hit. Although, apart from that, we cleared round 13, I know, miracle, however difficult it is for me to apparently get past that round. But not only that, we cleared round 28 and we made it into the 30s pretty comfortably. One of the main reasons why this run went so much better for me was I was actually more willing to spend my points this time around. I realized only having like purple tier 1 Pack-a-Punch guns just was not the play. Now, I wasn't going to get them tier 3 Pack-a-Punch without having them gold, but I was willing to spend the 20,000 points and get them to tier 2, and holy hell, it made the difference. Both the M16 and the Hauer were just immense up to round 30. The M16 was so good, in fact, I was still using it as my main weapon up to round 31, which was when I eventually managed to buy the gold upgrade from the war buy. And the same with the Hauer, although I didn't manage to get that gun gold until the end of round 35. Now, round 36, even though I had both of my guns finally upgraded to gold tier, this was when things began to get particularly difficult, because I noticed when my armor was depleted, I was 2 hit. Now, I don't know about you, but when you've had an entire horde of like rampage-inducing zombies chasing you, being 2 hit, it's kind of scary. Especially when there's also a megaton around that just has this laser beam cannon of explosives that will hit you no matter where you are on the map. Doesn't matter if you're next to him or you're 100 feet away from him, he's hitting you every single time. So from this point on, things got particularly difficult. Although I had one saving grace, which was earlier in the game, I did manage to actually find myself a self-revive from a zombie that I'd killed. But even having those, round 36 was still the first round where I had to pop my field upgrade, which now meant I couldn't use it again until round 46. And also I had to use my chopper gunner and the kill streak for the first time round 36, which meant I couldn't use that until round 46. So for the next 10 rounds, I knew for a fact that my only safety net was I could go down, but that was it. If I went down again afterwards, I was dead. Even though death was quite literally just looming over my shoulder, waiting for me to slip up, we made it into the 40s. And we didn't just make it into the 40s, we made it to round 45. However, this is where things do take a turn for the worst. Death finally gets his wish, and I do go down. I actually went down trying to buy my next kill streak, which I was going to use on round 46 or whenever I needed it past that. And I downed right at the beginning of the round trying to buy it. And at this point, I won't lie, I was panicking. But I thought to myself, if I'm going down, if this is the end, I'm going down with a fight. So I duked all the zombies, got myself back into the facility, took a major risk in buying Deadshot literally at the beginning of the round as all the zombies were spawning around me. Got hit as I was trying to get out of the little pit that it's in. Thought I was dead, but somehow managed to get out with just like the smallest thread of luck. But unfortunately, that tiny thread of luck just wouldn't prove to be enough. And I did in fact take a second down on round 45, which was ultimately the end of the game. Now, I don't know about you, but round 45, even though we were 10 rounds off, only 10 rounds off as well, by the way, of our initial goal of round 55, I think that's pretty damn good. 1 perk throughout the entire game, which was just Deadshot for me in this game. 2 guns, I did use 2 very, very OP guns. I don't want to hear a word about it, okay? I know, but I needed a little bit of something, you know? I took a lot away from me, so I needed to give myself a little bit of something to just keep me going. No jug, rage inducer on, 1 tier armor. It's around 45. It's pretty, that's not too shabby if I do say so myself. But for now, I do accept defeat with this challenge. We didn't quite get to 55, but you know what? There's always time for improvements in the future. But if you haven't already, drop a like on the video, leave a sub if you're new. Let me know in the comments what other challenges I should do, and I shall see you in the next one.